Hi friends, and welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, I am Yessi, and we are currently going to be finishing our second year homeschooling and moving into our third year of homeschooling. And in today's video, I am going to be sharing with you all why is it that we have chosen to use the curriculum that we currently use in our home for homeschooling, which is the ABEKA Homeschool Academy. And before I dive into all the reasons why we chose to do this curriculum, I do want to let you guys know that as a homeschooling parent, you don't have to use a curriculum per se. So you don't have to purchase, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. You don't have to purchase a full box curriculum. You can choose to create your own. You can choose to buy certain pieces for one curriculum and another piece from another curriculum and put it together to meet all the needs that your children need and to also make sure that you are following your state homeschool laws. For our personal family, we had certain reasons why we were homeschooling and we had a certain criteria, and we also wanted to make sure our children were getting all the requirements that our state required for our homeschool, and ABEKA was the one that truly fit our family needs, and we really like them. This is not a sponsored video. This is me sharing with you guys truly the reasons that we have chosen to use ABEKA Academy in our homeschool and how it truly does meet our family homeschooling needs. So the very first reason why we had chosen to go with ABEKA was because they have a Christian worldview. We truly do love how the Christian faith is woven into every subject and all throughout the entirety of the curriculum that ABEKA has. It's just so beautifully woven, so very well put together, and it is truly the closest one that we feel like is the closest to our faith. And so we love it. We love the Bible class component that it comes with. We love the video lessons. We feel that they're very thorough. Our kids are so knowledgeable. They acquire so much out of those Bible classes. Even the history and the science is with a Christian worldview, and we just love it. The second big reason why we went with ABEKA is because everything is pre-planned. Everything. So really, I don't have to do any lesson planning for myself or my husband. My husband honestly is an open and go. He loves it. He loves that he could just open it, turn on the video lesson, and if he doesn't need the video lesson, he just goes along with the workbooks. But everything is planned out for you. I don't have to sit down every single week to plan what the kids are going to be learning because it's already done for me. It is a beautiful thing. And it's funny because I used to be very hesitant of homeschooling because I thought I was going to have to plan every single little thing. And as a teacher, I know how time consuming planning activities and lessons that are high quality and they meet kids' needs. I know the challenges of that and how much time that was going to take. And in my mind, I was like, there is no way I could do that for my actual job and for my home. And I was like, where am I going to get the time? So when we found out that there was this curriculum that offers pre-planned lessons, video lessons, all ready for us to go, it just made homeschooling possible for us as full-time working parents. So that's why we love it. The third reason why we absolutely love ABEKA is their video lessons. Pretty much what sold me on this curriculum was we had signed up for the 25 free hours because we were looking and testing out and seeing what the kids really liked. And within the first lesson, I tested it out with each one of my kids. I set them through the lesson because I wasn't going to spend money on something that my kids weren't going to enjoy. So my whole idea was, if my kids aren't going to like this and they're not going to want to sit through this, I'm not spending my money on it. So we tested it out with my daughter. She loved it, and she was engaging with the video, the video classes, and her counting, she used to have like this counting issue, and it was resolved within the first lesson. I was like, how did Dad do it? And I tried, and I don't know why I couldn't get it working. And then my son loved it. He was like, yeah, I can sit through this. He had a certain criteria. He did not want it to be like remote learning from COVID. He had been begging for homeschooling for a really long time. And so when we told him we were going to do it and that it was going to have video lessons, his thing was like, he did not want to actually be in a video call with people. He didn't mind sitting and learning from a video, but he did not want to actually have to talk to the person on the other side. So when he tested it out, he was like, oh yeah, I could do this. So the video lessons, really, we absolutely love it. And it's a component that is really important to us. We did accredit it at first. Right now we're unaccredited. And for the time being, we're going to stay unaccredited. And then when our son hits high school, we want to go back to accredited, just because we don't think that in our state, being accredited or unaccredited, it's not really going to make the difference. I'm still going to have to go through the evaluation process. So we're just choosing to do unaccredited. We're still following everything like we did when it was accredited, with the exception of some of the video lessons. Like I've taken over the reading components of them. And sometimes my husband, depending on certain areas in math, he does jump in and, based on what our kids need, we do sometimes, take over certain components. But for the majority of the part, they do the video lessons, and it is amazing. So amazing that we're going with them again a third year. Another reason why we love this curriculum is that it's not Common Core. That was number one on my husband's curriculum list. He was like, whatever we get, it cannot be Common Core. He hates Common Core with a passion. And I remember Noah coming home from school with his math homework. My husband would refuse. He was like, I'm not doing that. Nope, that doesn't make sense to my brain. So I would have to do it with my son. But that was like number one on his list. He's like, it needs to be traditional math that I understand, math that I know. So ABEKA uses traditional math, which is wonderful for us. The quality of the materials are great. The quality of the lessons are great, and it's rigorous. Like, our children have learned so much. It just blows my mind how much they have learned. I see Noah doing his science and his social studies, and I'm like, oh my goodness. I've seen these topics being covered in middle school science and social studies, and my son is doing it in 4th and 5th grade. It is so beautiful. And I love how they have like their spiral learning approach. So pretty much they introduce certain topics very early on, and as they move up, they get more complex and they add more to it and they add more to it. So they're revisiting the things over and over every year, and throughout the year, and they just add more complex things to it to, make sure that they really are grasping those core concepts first and practicing and mastering that, so that then they can move on to the other ones. I love that. I'm a big fan of that. I heart that. Another thing that I absolutely love about the curriculum is that all subjects are equally important. So science and social studies aren't put on the back burner. Nope. I love that they all are equal. So we have language arts is important, like the reading, the writing, the spelling, the grammar. I love that. I love the language arts component. Then we have math. Then we have science. Then we have social studies. Then when we have Bible, which is equally important as the rest of the subject. As a matter of fact, that is the very first subject they have to do throughout the day. And then later on in science, one of the quarters is about health. So I just love how all of the subjects are considered important, and you're not really teaching, like they're not being taught to match a standardized test at the end of the year. They are truly getting a well-rounded education with all of the subjects being equally important. Talking about subjects, another thing that I really love is their phonics program. I am going to be honest. I was very hesitant to homeschool our son, and one of the things that why we waited so long and I agreed to revisit homeschooling when our son was in 3rd grade was that I was really nervous about like the basics. I was nervous about phonics and how to teach a young child to read and, you know, the basics in math. That was really nerve-wracking to me. And I was like, I don't think we can do that together. So when I saw this and I looked at their phonics program and how simple it is to implement, and how my daughter in kindergarten, she can read. She can read beyond CVC words. She can read words with long vowels, with different formations, with different blends. She's able to decode words that I'm just like, oh my goodness, I don't sometimes see kids doing that until later on in 1st grade. Children are different. Children have different experiences. But in kindergarten, my son was not reading when he went to traditional school. He wasn't. He wasn't even adding or subtracting. He went to a Montessori school. So when I look at this, I'm like, OMG, my daughter is so ahead compared to when my son was in kindergarten and 1st grade. My son couldn't read at the end of kindergarten, and he started reading more towards mid-1st grade. So I look at this and I'm like, wow, I was nervous that we weren't going to be able to teach our kids to read. And here, my daughter is way above to where my son was at her age. And it's so funny because my son says it all the time. He hears my daughter and he sees us and he was like, I didn't learn that in kindergarten. I didn't even get to see that until I was almost in 2nd grade. So it was like, you know, it's like, oh my goodness, I love it. I love their phonics program. It is so strong, highly recommended. It's no fuzz. Like, it is what it is, you know, it teaches everything the way it should go, and the kids grasp it, and it spirals. So it starts with the basics with short vowels, then it moves to long vowels, and then it does consonant blends, then it moves on to, you know, different long vowel sounds and the different rules of when this word might have this. You know how English is so complicated? I've learned so much through this curriculum that I'm like, I implement things that I've done with my daughter in my teaching with my ESL kids at school. Yeah, when it comes to reading. So I've learned so much personally from teaching our children through this curriculum. Even my husband says it all the time. He's like, I learned this from school today. Well, I was teaching Noah. Check it out. And it's like, oh, wow, you're being educated too, babe. So it's just pretty amazing. We are really happy with the quality of the education they're getting. I feel like those reasons are the reasons why we love ABEKA and why we are going to continue using them, because it truly does meet our family needs. We are a full-time working homeschooling family. Both my husband and I work. And so for us to be able to provide our kids with that super high quality education that is faith-based, this curriculum really hit all the marks. It really has made it so simple for us to implement, and it works so well for our children. I'm not saying that this is what will work for everybody, because like I've mentioned before, families have different needs and they're in different seasons of life. But for our family, this curriculum is something we absolutely love and that we are hoping to continue to use in the future. All right, friends, I want to hear from you. What are some of the curriculums that you use or that you have used in the past or that you absolutely love using? You love using this from this curriculum, but you love using this other component from another curriculum. Go ahead and let me know in the comments below. I always love hearing from you. Thank you so much for watching. And if you enjoyed this video, please remember to like and subscribe. I'll see you next time. Bye.